ったか？
うん、大丈夫。
ノエルは？
眠ってるだけだよ。
よかった。
起こしちゃった？
何勝手におぶってんのよ。下ろして。
Alright, my friends, we have the Banished Former Hero episode number 3 here. And let's, just right when the video starts, let's just get these things out of the way. The Banished Former Hero is kind of like a really low budget anime. And I don't think that there is absolutely anything wrong with like low budget anime. Now, I will say that the studio doing this is, there's, studios are very large and there's a lot of people that work there. But the studio that's working on this is actually working on another one of my favorites this season, which is RE Monster. And they've also done other stuff, like they've worked on Sailor Moon before. They've worked on, I think, Hakkenden. They've worked on some other like random ones, like some like, I think they've worked on Rurouni Kenshin like a long time ago. So they've worked on a lot of different shows in the past. So I understand that this is like a spin-off kind of thing. It's like a lower budget show. With the lower budget, some things do come into play. Now, I would say that this is probably, a show that like the people who are really gonna love it are going to be the ones that are fans of the source material. Like if it comes from a manga or light novel and they're seeing it kind of like, animated and stuff, I think those are going to be like the super fans. I think for the rest of us who aren't familiar, there's still something really good here, but it's kind of one of the things to where you have to weigh it out of like, does these low budget antics get in the way of you enjoying this show? Now, some of those low budget things is like the elf girl comes in and fights the Fenrir, and I think she gets hit by the Fenrir. But, like, she goes, like, with the sword, she goes, like, ah, and it just, like, ah. And she just, like, bounces back. He's like, haha, you got hit by the Fenrir and you survived. It's like, did she? Like, so it's like, it wasn't really animated well. And then we have Alan who comes through and he destroys the Fenrir and he, like, wow, and it goes, pfft, and I'm like, okay, like, that is okay. And then we have the elf girl once again, and her leader, or no, not her leader, her teacher, her like, mother figure. I think her name was Victoria or something like that. She gets destroyed by the Fenrir in the past, and she gets saved by the hero. The fight between the hero and the Fenrir wasn't really well animated, and her death wasn't really well animated. So it's one of those things to where it's like, how much does the animation of like overselling these fight scenes, because they're actually pretty plentiful with this show, how much does that affect your enjoyment? If it doesn't really at all, then I think that you're on the same side of the fence as me, to where it's like, I just realized that they're not exactly throwing money at this. Like this is like not even like the C team. This is like the F team. Just like, you got these guys, these guys and gals, they're just doing their best. You know what I mean? They're doing their best out here. So if it doesn't really affect you, then I think that let's talk. If it does affect you, I think, what? Hey, like, if this show's not for you because of the animation or because some of the cheesy dialogue, hey, like, you know what? There's so much other good anime this season. It's totally okay to put the pause, put the kibosh, and say, hey, I'm going to come back and I'll binge this later. Or just like, hey, it's just not for me. And you just say, whatever else. All right, for everybody else who's still with me over here, and obviously you can still be here, watch the rest of the review. Although I think it is low budget, and although I don't really think like the animation's very good, I think that there are some cheesy dialogue stuff. This episode specifically, I'm not a big fan of how Alan kind of just gave away the farm. He's like, oh, in my past life, I came across punks like you all the time. And the old dude, right, the old butler, Sebastian looking dude, he's like, your past life? What the hell you mean your past life, bro? You know what I mean? It's like, why are you even saying that? Like, why are you, like, what are you trying to accomplish by letting people know, especially the bad guy that you're fighting, that, hey, you're a reincarnated person? So I didn't really like that moment. Everything else about the episode, I did like, I like how it definitely was a heavy focus on where we picked up last episode with the blacksmith. I like how it was a heavy focus on her and her story and how she's going to produce a saint level type sword, a really strong sword. that Alan's going to be able to use for his ventures, right? This is going to be the thing that kind of proves everything for him. And he's going to have like a companion piece to his power. He shows us that power later on where he decides to take some really big swings to go find the Sebastian looking dude. And I mean, he destroys like miles of just, I don't even know, like just some crazy stuff. And then he goes after a Sebastian guy. He gets there, but he finds that a demon got there first. For whatever reason, he didn't interact with the demon. I'm not really sure if it was... based on the camera angle of this episode, it was hard to tell. It was either the demon was there devouring this dude, and he was like, someone got there first. Or the Sebastian guy was already, like, dead. He's like, someone got here first. Which I think it's that. But it was really hard to tell by the angles. The other thing that I really liked about this episode, outside of being able to see Alan and, him, shred his stuff and stuff, is he did get closer to the Blacksmith Girl. The Blacksmith Girl got closer to the Amazon Girl because she reminded her of herself, no home, taken advantage of, nowhere to go. So she's going to partner with the Amazonian Girl. They were able to free her from her slave collar, which is really, really cool as well, too. And then the very last thing that I really liked about this episode was the kind of the twist at the end, which... again, the twist is one of those things to where it's like you may or may not really enjoy it, but essentially Alan's family, father and brother, like the father who banished him and the brother who thinks he's better than anything else in the world, they're the ones driving the partnership with the demons. They're the ones trying to like take over the kingdom. They're the ones plotting. They're trying to take out the princess and the elf. They're the ones who are like manipulating and plotting everything alongside the demons. So at some point, I don't know if we'll get to it this season, but at some point, Alan's going to have to not only face the demons, but he's also going to have to face his dad and his prior family, whether he wants to or not. He kind of just wants to be his own entity. But because of his partnership and his fiance and everything that he has ties with, these people that he genuinely cares for, is going to drive him back to having to face his dad and the demons and stuff. I don't think there's really any saving them because they're working with the demons of their own volition and their own choice. So I like it. Again, this isn't like, this isn't like the new sliced bread of anime or anything. This isn't like setting the stage or, this isn't like setting the bar for anything. But I think it's good enough, and it's a cool little anime to watch, and I'm enjoying it, and I really want to see what ends up happening next. I understand that this anime will probably end up on people's, like, poo-poo lists. You have those people who are just, like, negative Nancys who make, like, the worst anime of the season that you should never watch, the worst thing ever. And I know I get negative, too, but I'm only negative for the shows I decide to watch, and then if they show me something that's, like, unwatchable or, like, give me, like, genuine reasons to not watch, then, obviously my opinion at that point is going to be negative. But then I just stop watching. I don't continue reporting on the show. You know what I mean? Like, I don't make those worst anime lists either. But maybe I should. Maybe I should. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I should join that. Maybe people really watch that stuff. I don't know. But, like, anyways. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Banished Former Hero. Let me know if you're going to continue watching. Let me know if you're going to drop it. Let me know if you're going to binge it later. Let me know what you're thinking on this anime in the thoughts down below. All right, friends. I'll see you next week. Peace.